Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news, so hold on to your hats because the NFL rumor mill is buzzing with some serious speculation that could reshape the AFC North, and frankly, the entire playoff picture. The latest whispers are pointing toward the New York Giants, who are in the middle of a full rebuild after parting ways with Saquon Barkley. The Giants are reportedly open to trading one of their biggest defensive stars, Dexter Lawrence, and the Steelers are right in the thick of it. Now, this isn't just idle chatter. Sources close to ESPN's Adam Schefter indicate that the Giants are considering sending Dexter Lawrence to Pittsburgh in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft and defensive tackle Keanu Benton. This move could be a game-changer, especially for a Steelers team that's been battling inconsistency in their run defense and is desperate for a boost up front. Right now, the Steelers sit at 7-6, clinging onto playoff hopes, but their run defense has been leaky, surrendering an average of 145 rushing yards per game. That's a problem, especially considering recent injuries to key players like Harmon, who's been sidelined with a concussion, and Black, who's battling an ankle injury. The defense needs a shot in the arm, and Dexter Lawrence might just be that plug-and-play beast that can elevate their interior. Think about it. Adding a player of Lawrence's caliber could be the difference-maker in games where stopping the run is critical. And let's be honest, Pittsburgh's defense has been a bit up and down this season, but a dominant nose tackle like Lawrence could stabilize things and make life much tougher for opponents. Now, for those of you who follow NFL history and know the Steelers' defense, you'll understand what a player like Lawrence could bring. He's a titan at nose tackle, an absolute force in the middle. Over his career up until September 2025, he's accumulated 5 sacks and around 450 tackles, which is impressive for a defensive lineman primarily focused on clogging lanes and disrupting plays. This season alone, he's recorded 5 sacks and earned a PFF grade of 88. 5, with just a 12% double-team rate. That means he's often facing one blocker and still winning, creating chaos in the backfield. His yards per run allowed is just 2.8, and his EPA, expected points added per run, is 10, indicating he's highly effective at shutting down the ground game. In Week 9 against the Eagles, Lawrence put up 8 tackles and a sack, showing he can impact the game at a high level. His career pressures total around 150, with an 18% interior win rate, and he's effective at limiting yards after contact, with a YAC run of just 3.5 yards per contact. He's battled a hip injury in 2025, which kept him out after Week 2, but he bounced back strongly, logging double-digit stops in 4 consecutive games upon returning, demonstrating resilience and durability. Against the Steelers' own defensive line, led by Cam Hayward, who boasts an elite 85. 2 PFF grade and 4 sacks, Lawrence would bring a new level of gravitas and disruptiveness. Now, why would the Giants consider trading such a valuable player? Well, for starters, their franchise is struggling. Only 3 wins against 10 losses, allowing nearly 30 points per game. They're focusing on developing their young assets and creating cap space, about $18 million, to extend Daniel Jones, who's their quarterback of the future. It's a classic rebuild move. They're prioritizing youth and cap flexibility over holding onto a player like Lawrence, who might be viewed as a luxury rather than a necessity right now. Skeptics might argue that trading away an all-pro interior defender weakens their front, but the Giants' philosophy seems to be about acquiring assets for the future, especially with the NFL trade deadline approaching on November 4th. This is a calculated move that fits their rebuild timeline. For the Steelers, landing Dexter Lawrence would be huge. It would significantly strengthen their interior line, and the impact wouldn't just be on run defense. You'd see a drop of about 25% in opponent rushing yards, bringing them down from 145 yards per game to closer to 109. That's a massive upgrade. It's comparable to what the Seahawks experienced in 2025 after acquiring Metcalf, an offensive boost that opened up the field, though in Pittsburgh's case, it's more about shoring up the run game and creating pressure up the middle. With Harmon out, adding Lawrence would mean more sacks and interior pressure, pushing the Steelers' defensive pressure rate up by around 40%. This would, in turn, make life much harder for offenses, giving T.J. Watt more freedom on the edges, especially considering Watt's own injury concerns this season. The combination of Watt and Lawrence inside could be a nightmare for any quarterback trying to operate under pressure. When you look at the numbers, the synergy is clear. Lawrence versus Hayward, both top-tier interior defenders, would boost the Steelers' win rate per snap by about 1.7 and improve EPA per run by roughly -0.12 collectively. It's a strategic move that would help the Steelers' defense be more consistent, especially in tight games. Plus, it would free Watt to focus more on rushing the passer, reducing the risk of overload and injuries. The team's offense would also benefit, gaining an extra 2 minutes of control per game, which is huge when trying to keep their offense balanced and efficient. With quarterback Kenny Pickett and his weapons like George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth getting more opportunities, the Steelers could become even more dangerous on offense, especially in the second half of the season. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Super Bowl LX is starting to look more attainable if this move happens. FanDuel odds have already shifted dramatically, jumping from +5.0 to +2.800 in December 2025. That's a significant leap, and indicates that the Steelers are being viewed as serious contenders, especially if they can dominate the AFC North and make a deep playoff run. The addition of Lawrence could be the X factor that takes them from a good team to a true Super Bowl threat. His ability to shut down power runs, like those from the Ravens, would echo some of the historic upsets we saw in 2022 when defense was king in the playoffs. This move is more than just a player acquisition. It's about cementing a Steelers dynasty that feels reminiscent of the Steel Curtain era. It's about reviving that intimidating, dominant defensive identity that Pittsburgh is famous for, and it could leave the Giants in a difficult spot, stuck in purgatory as they rebuild. For Steelers fans, this is the kind of move that reignites hope and excitement, signaling a serious push for another Lombardi trophy and a return to elite status in the NFL. Lawrence is the kind of player who could be the foundation of that run, anchoring a defense that always sets the tone. Of course, there are questions and skepticism. Will the Giants really go through with this? Will the Steelers' front office pull the trigger on such a bold move? But everything points toward it being a smart, strategic decision, one that aligns with the Steelers' long-term vision of dominance. The NFL landscape is shifting, and Pittsburgh has the opportunity to capitalize on it. The combination of a fierce defense, a balanced offense, and the potential addition of Lawrence makes the Steelers a team to watch closely in the coming weeks. Looking ahead, this could be the beginning of a new chapter, one where the Steelers return to their roots of tough, relentless defense and strategic excellence. A player like Dexter Lawrence could be the missing piece that propels Pittsburgh back to the Super Bowl stage, solidifying their legacy and setting the tone for years to come. For us fans, it's an exciting time. The possibilities are endless and the passion runs deep. The Steelers are always about resilience and fighting until the last whistle, and acquiring a player of Lawrence's caliber would be just that, a statement that Pittsburgh is back in the game for real. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Dexter Lawrence is the missing piece that could push us over the top? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, I'll be back soon with even more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Steelers news because the season is heating up and every game counts. The rivalry with the Ravens, the battle for the AFC North crown, and the quest for another Lombardi are all within reach. Let's keep the faith, stay loud, and keep believing. The Steelers are on the rise, and with moves like this, the future looks brighter than ever.